Good afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am jeffgrantMEDIA, and in today's real user review, we're going to be taking a look at the Relwen Windzip jacket and the Relwen Windzip vest. Huckberry did send me both the jacket and the vest for free, but all of the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone. I did not share this content with Huckberry or Relwen prior to publication. They will see this when you do. So I've now been testing out and wearing both the jacket and the vest, various weather conditions, weather temperatures, using them as layers, with different jackets and stuff, and I'm very satisfied with the performance. We're going to get into all of that, how I used each of these items individually, but first we're going to do a spec rundown. The Relwen Windzip jacket comes in at $268 USD. It comes in wet cement, which is the colorway I am wearing here. It also comes in charcoal loden, cadet navy, chalk, and citrus. The Windzip vest comes in at $198 USD. It is available in black fade as seen here, citrus, cadet navy, and ghost gray. The exterior of both the jacket and vest are made from 94% nylon and 6% spandex. The liner is 95% poly and 5% spandex. And both the jacket and vest have a 100% poly fill that includes 60 grams of a down alternative, and they are both made in China. And we're going to go ahead and start with the Windzip vest because that's what I'm wearing. So this is probably the second most worn garment out of my last Huckberry haul, if not out of all of my Huckberry hauls, because I've worn this as a mid-layer underneath several jackets now. I've worn this with just like something like this with a shirt. I'm wearing the Flint & Tinder bone button western shirt. I've worn this like over a sweatshirt, and I've also worn it as like a mid-layer underneath both the wool line wax trucker and the rancher jacket when it was colder. So this has been like my mid-layer. I'd say I would wear both the wool line wax trucker or the rancher alone in like the 30-degree range, something like that. But when we dipped into like the mid to low 20s, I would definitely throw this on underneath either of those jackets. Both of those jackets are a bit oversized, the rancher a little more so than the wax trucker. So this was a great mid-layer. I wasn't too snug, it wasn't too tight. It fit very, very nicely underneath both of those jackets. I think I also tossed this on one day. It was raining, so I had this on our maybe more than one day. A couple days it's been raining. We had some weird weather. We either had like 20-degree days or like 50-degree rainy days. So I've been wearing this quite a bit, both either as my mid-layer for some of those colder days, and then I've actually worn this, now that I think about it, yes, definitely a couple times, especially walking the dog as like a layer underneath my rain jacket because it was a little chilly and the rain made it a little colder outside, but I didn't want to wear like a heavy sweatshirt or a heavy jacket because it was just too warm for that. So I would combine this with some rain gear as well. So this was worn as a mid-layer for a lot of different variations. I've also worn this to work quite a bit. Now that it's generally colder, it's still December here. It should be like in the 20s and 30s. It's been like a lot of 40, high 40, low 50-degree days. It was like 52 and sunny on Christmas Day. So we've had a very wild year for weather this year. This entire fall has been up and down temperature range, but I've worn this to the office because when I'm wearing heavier jackets in the spring and the summer, or spring and the fall, I generally will wear whatever jacket I wore to work. Lighter ones, I will wear them basically all day long because it's always cold in the office building. Corporate America loves to keep their workers freezing cold. They probably think it keeps you awake. Really, it just turns us into icicles and we spend half our day shivering to be warm. So if I wasn't wearing a cardigan, I was basically wearing this. So I was either wearing essentially a cardigan or the Relwen Windzip vest all day long at work. So I'd wear it as like my mid-layer, and then I'd get to work and then I'd end up wearing this all day long at the office, and it's very comfortable to wear. I have plenty of movement in it. It is a vest, so I don't really have to worry about it being tight in the shoulders as I'm reaching for stuff. But when I'm in like the gear closet, when I'm pulling cameras off the shelves or trying to get tripods or set up lights, I definitely feel like this is good. I have enough range of motion. It fits me well. I don't feel like it's pulling or being too snug anywhere on the body as I'm wearing it. So it works really well as a mid-layer. It works really well over something like a button-down shirt or a sweatshirt if it's not really cold, if it's like the mid 40s or something and I'm doing an errand or, you know, just going out to eat or something like that and it's nicer out and I don't need a heavy jacket. Tossing the vest on over a little bit heavier layer or a long sleeve shirt has been completely comfortable. So again, probably my second most worn garment out of definitely this last Huckberry haul, if not all of my Huckberry hauls so far, because this has been worn underneath a lot of jackets and a lot of vests. And definitely, yes, I'm gonna recommend this. This is, I would say, on par with the North Face Thermoball vest. I wore that a lot for several years until Duke the dog decided that it was a chew toy and destroyed it, but I wore that extensively for probably 2, maybe 3 years, and that was like my main go-to vest. The liner is definitely softer and more comfortable than just the shell of the North Face. The North Face is the same outside and inside, but this has a nice softer liner. So the liner is definitely more comfortable than the North Face, but I would say as far as warmth factor and comfortability, this is definitely on par with the North Face Thermoball vest, and they're about the same price point. So this is $198. I think the Thermoball is like $180, $190, so they're right in the same ballpark. So I definitely say not only does it compete with it in a standoff 1-to-1, it's definitely in the same ballpark price point range. So you're definitely okay with either. If you're a North Face guy like I was for a long time, and you're looking to upgrade or get something different, the Relwen, I think this definitely looks better. I wore the North Face at the office all the time. The Windzip vest definitely has a more casual look to it than the North Face Thermoball has, so it definitely will fit in the office space a lot better than the outdoor look of the North Face. But I would say performance-wise, definitely on par with the same thing you'd see in a North Face Thermoball. But definitely if you're looking to upgrade from like a North Face or something with that more outdoorsy look and you wanted to wear it in the office building, the Relwen Windzip is definitely where to go. There's 2 pieces of branding. The most prominent that you can see is the little tiny Relwen bird that is up here on the left chest by the pocket, and then down on the bottom right hand side you have a little bit bigger embroidery on just below the right hand warmer pocket. It's a little bit larger, but it is black and gray, so it definitely doesn't stand out as much as the red logo does. And I believe the reason this is called the Windzip is because we have not 1 but 2 storm flaps that cover the zipper, so it will block, and their button, so it will block the wind from coming in your zipper, because you have 2 separate storm flaps to block the wind from your zipper. And now moving on to the Relwen Windzip jacket. As I stated earlier, this is definitely an athletic fit. So if you plan on wearing this just over something like a light sweatshirt or a button-down shirt, runs pretty true to size, so I would say definitely buy your size. If you plan on wearing this over anything heavier, I would say you might want to size up to the next highest size, just because it is that athletic cut, so you're not going to have as much room underneath as you would in something that's like a classic fit. So it definitely has a slimmer cut to it. Now this jacket I wore in temperature ranges from, I'd say, about the low 30s up to about the 50-degree temperature range. One of the best performances I had out of this was I wore this to a day trip to New York City. So we left very early in the morning, took a bus there, and came back very late at night. So when we left, it was about 31, 32 degrees out, and I was completely comfortable. So we got there, and we thought our bus came, so we got out of the car. That was nice and warm, and it turned out it was not our bus, so we stood outside in the freezing cold for like 20 minutes waiting for our bus to arrive. So I stood around outside, not moving much, in about 31, 32 degrees with this jacket on. Got on the bus, drove to New York, warmed up to about 50 degrees and sunny that day, so it was a lot warmer. Then I ended up rocking it all day long. Still, I didn't really want to carry it, so I ended up just unzipping it and walking around with it unzipped, still wearing it all day long. So unzipped, vented a little bit in about 50-degree temperature, completely fine. Back on the bus, Hazel was using it as a blanket because she was chilly, so she took my jacket, used it as a blanket on the bus. Then when we got off, put it back on, back down to the mid to low 30s, wore this home completely fine. So the temperature range for the Windzip jacket, I would say completely comfortable in about 30 to 50 degrees. And I would say that is definitely on par with how I wore my my Patagonia Nano Puff jacket. I lived in that jacket for a couple of years. That I combined with my North Face Thermoball vest. Those were like the 2 things prior to me getting into like heritage wear and wax jackets. Those were like my go-to jackets, my jacket and vest. So if it was about 30 to 50 degrees, I was grabbing that Nano Puff jacket and I would wear that. Anything below, if I was doing something active like hiking or something, I would probably grab the Nano Puff and I would wear that. But anything below that, I would generally wear a heavier jacket and then combine a vest with the heavier jacket. Unless I was hiking, then I'd wear the Nano Puff. So I would say this is definitely on par with the Patagonia Nano Puff. And again, just like I said with the vest in the thermal ball, it's at about the same price point. This is $268, where I believe the Nano Puffs are now like $289. That's the hooded version. That's what I have. So I checked the price of the hooded version. So the crew neck version is probably right about, I'd say it's probably $20 cheaper. So $290, probably like $270, which is, yeah, about almost identical price point. So I would say not only is it warmth-wise comparable to the Patagonia Nano Puff, it's definitely the same price point of it. So it's definitely, the quality has been great. I have not had any issues with this. I would definitely throw this on to go hiking in the woods. I haven't yet, just because we've been so busy, we haven't had a chance to do much hiking. And the last time we went hiking, it was like 55 degrees, so I just wore a vest. I don't even think I wore a vest, I just wore a sweatshirt. I think I had this vest on in the car, and when we got there, it was so hot, I just left the vest in the car and just wore a light sweatshirt. It was so warm, and we were active, so I just kept a sweatshirt on. We didn't go for a very long hike, and it was just sloppy and wet and warm. It was like rainy, so I didn't end up wearing anything but a sweatshirt. But the Relwen Windzip jacket, I would have easily worn this in the woods if it was like, I would say 25 to like, I'd say 25 to maybe 45 degrees, I would wear this in the woods. The only difference I would say that this has to similar puffer jackets, if you will, is I don't think this is going to compact down nearly as small. Yes, it will still pack down pretty small, but you can roll some of those puffer jackets up into one of their own pockets and make them like, some of them like the size of your fist, where this is definitely going to be a little bit more bulky, compacted and rolled up, but like weight-wise and wearing it, it doesn't feel any bulkier than, actually, I have a 650 down jacket, an Eddie Bauer 650 down with DWR coating and everything. Nice puffer, warm and everything, but that's bulky. That is down, so it is actual goose down, goose feather, where this is a synthetic fill. But that 650 down is way bulkier than this. So this would actually pack down smaller than some down jackets, but I don't think it would pack down nearly as small as some synthetic jackets. But performance-wise, I'm saying this is definitely on par with some of the name brands that people think about, like, because I'm comparing this against like puffers. When people think puffers, they're thinking, at least me, I'm thinking like Patagonia, Columbia, and North Face. Those are some of the big puffers you see out. And Eddie Bauer, you see a decent amount of Eddie Bauer stuff. It's a more known brand. There's lots of outlet stores, so people grab that stuff at outlet stores too. That's where I usually get mine. There's an outlet store not far from here. I just grab stuff when it's on sale, but I digress. I would definitely say this, performance-wise, it definitely holds up to a lot of the more expensive or same price point puffer jackets. It's very comfortable. I've not had any issues with it. I really like the look of this. Just like the vest, this does have a more casual look to it. So if you wanted a puffer style jacket, but you wanted to go out to dinner, you wanted to go out in town, you want to go to the bar, and you don't want to look like you just came back from the trail, you can wear the Relwen Windzip, still have that same form and function, but have a more casual look to it. So this definitely would fit better in my office than my bright yellow Patagonia Nano Puff was. That'll definitely fit. I'll definitely look more inconspicuous going out to dinner with the family than with my bright yellow Nano Puff, and it would definitely feel the same. And I do love to go out to the restaurants wearing smaller jackets like puffers, because sometimes, you know, you're crammed into a tiny booth and the puffer can pack down and you can stick that behind yourself, and it takes up way less room than a bulky winter jacket, or even some of the wax heritage jackets that I love to wear. This is definitely going to take up a lot less space in a cramped booth or in a cramped restaurant than some of those other jackets. So do I think the Relwen Windzip jacket is worth your $268? Absolutely. This is a great quality garment. I've really enjoyed wearing it. I've worn it in various weather conditions. It's been great. It's definitely comparable to jackets that people know that are on the same level, both performance-wise and price point-wise. I think the price point's right on par for what it is. It handles really well. It may not compact down as small as some of those synthetic fill jackets that you see, but it has a much more casual look, so you're not going to look out of place in the city, going out to the restaurant, going out to the bar, walking into the office wearing this as you might in some of those more technical outdoor garments. So definitely check it out. If you're looking at it, you're on the fence with either of these, very happy. Like, these definitely get down pretty small. This is just crumpling it up into a ball. And I'm not even trying to get this to fold down very nice or neat. And I can get this down pretty small with just crumpling it up. So both of them do pack down to a pretty good size. You can use either of these for travel. I really wish I had this prior to going to Disney, because boy, coming back from 80-degree Florida weather into 40-degree and pouring rain weather in Pennsylvania, that felt freezing. And it would have been really nice to have a nice thin packable jacket that Hazel could have used as a blanket on a plane, and I could have used to been warm when I got off the plane and back into cold, rainy Pennsylvania weather. But I digress. I didn't have it then, I have it now, and I'm very, very satisfied. So if you're on the fence with either the Relwen Windzip vest or the Relwen Windzip jacket, both are great products. They combining them with other products, using them as mid layers, wearing them individually, work really, really well. They've been holding up well. Again, second most worn garment out of probably any of my Huckberry hauls thus far, and absolutely love it. I'm probably going to end up wearing this to work tomorrow because I wore a cardigan today. I'll probably switch it up and wear the vest tomorrow. So if you're thinking about it, definitely grab it. They are both worth your hard-earned money, and they're both very comparable to other vests and jackets that perform similarly but look a little bit more outdoorsy, especially if you want to walk into the office building and not be flashy and stand out. So if you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications next time I post a brand new video. Good night.